Picture this, a world that's been torn apart by centuries of non-stop war. We're talking states constantly attacking each other, families plotting against one another, the entire social fabric has just completely unraveled. Well, that was the reality of the Warring States period in ancient China. And it's in this absolute chaos that one of history's most radical social engineers shows up, the philosopher Mozzi.
So when everything has fallen apart, where do you even begin to fix it? This was the fundamental question that drove Mozi and his followers, the Mohists. And let me tell you, they were not interested in just sitting around debating abstract ideas. No way. They were looking for a practical, workable solution to end the suffering they saw all around them, every single day.
And this quote right here, it perfectly sums up Mozi's entire mission. He basically looked at society like a doctor looking at a really, really sick patient. Think about it. You can't just start prescribing a cure. First, you have to make the right diagnosis. You got to find the root cause of the disease.
Okay, so this is where Mozzi puts on his doctor's hat, so to speak. He's looking out at this broken world and asking one very specific question. What's the disease? What is the fundamental pathogen that's causing all of this conflict, this misery, and this complete disorder?
And his finding was, well, it was simple, but also incredibly profound. He said the problem is that there's no single, unified standard for what's right and what's wrong. Just look at his logic here. If one person has one standard, fine. But 10 people, that's 10 different standards. 100 people means 100 different standards. And what happens then? Well, everyone just ends up justifying their own actions while condemning everyone else's. The result is a society that he described as being like that of birds and beasts, total chaos.
Ultimately, Mozzi boiled all of this moral chaos down to a single core disease: partiality. It's that natural human tendency to care only about our own little circle, our family, our clan, our state, while being totally indifferent or even hostile to everyone on the outside. This, he declared, is the source of all the world's problems.
So, if the diagnosis is partiality, this kind of selfish us versus them way of thinking, then the cure has to be something radical. It's got to be the exact opposite.
And this is Mozi's most famous and, most controversial idea: universal love, or GNI. The name literally means something like inclusive care. It is the direct antidote to partiality. He argued that you have to care for everyone with the exact same level of concern. You should treat other people's families as if they were your own, and other countries as if they were your own. Pretty radical, right?
The logic here is just incredibly pragmatic. On one side, you've got partial love. The premise is, I'm only going to love my own family and my own state. According to Mozi, the inevitable result is usurpation, mutual injury, and war. But on the other side, you have universal love, which starts from the premise of loving all families and states as if they were your own. The result? Mutual benefit, harmony, and peace. For Mozi, it was really just that simple.
Now you have to understand, Mozi was no armchair philosopher. Universal love wasn't just some nice, fuzzy feeling. It was the foundation for a complete political and social overhaul. He had a detailed, step-by-step blueprint to re-engineer society from the ground up.
His plan rested on 3 main pillars. First, promote the worthy. Get the most capable and moral people into government, no matter what their family background is. Second, unify standards. Create a top-down moral hierarchy to put an end to all the moral chaos. And third, eliminate waste. Focus state resources only on things that provide direct, tangible benefits to the people. That's it.
You have to appreciate just how revolutionary this was. We're talking about an age completely dominated by hereditary aristocracy, where your birth decided your entire life. And here comes Mozi, arguing for pure meritocracy. He believed a wise ruler's most valuable assets weren't jewels or treasures, but talented people who could actually govern for the benefit of all.
This leads right into his intense focus on utility. For Mozi, the value of anything, an object, an action, a policy, was measured by one simple test. Does it benefit the people? Does it help feed them, clothe them, and keep them safe? If the answer is no, then it's a wasteful luxury that the state simply cannot afford.
And he was not shy about what this meant in the real world.
He condemned things like elaborate funerals and long mourning periods because they took people away from productive work. He famously argued against lavish musical performances and fine arts, seeing them as just an extravagant drain on resources. And of course, the absolute biggest waste was offensive warfare. Basically, if you couldn't eat it, wear it, or use it for defense, Mozi saw it as a dangerous distraction.
So this rigid top-down system based on utility and universal love, well, it leaves one massive question just hanging over the entire blueprint. Right? If everyone is supposed to conform to a single standard, who gets to set that standard? Who does the ruler, the Son of Heaven, answer to? What guarantees that his standard is the right one and not just another form of tyranny?
Mozzi's answer was heaven, but not heaven as in a place, and not some impersonal force of nature. For Mozzi, heaven, or Tien, had a conscious will. Tien was an active moral consciousness, and its will was perfectly impartial. It loved all people equally and wanted them to benefit one another. It was the ultimate source and the ultimate model for justice.
This analogy he uses is perfect. It really gets to the heart of the idea. The will of heaven wasn't some vague, mystical feeling. Nope. It was an objective, universal tool for measurement. Just like a carpenter uses a square to determine what is truly square, a ruler must use the will of heaven to determine what is truly right and just for society.
And here's the crucial part. This standard came with an enforcement mechanism. According to Mozi, heaven is always watching. Actions that are aligned with its will, loving and benefiting others, would be rewarded by heaven with blessings. But actions against its will, hating and harming others, would be punished with disease, famine, and all sorts of other calamities.
Mozi's vision of a society that's ruthlessly optimized for the collective good, where every single action is judged by its practical benefit, it's just as jarring today as it was 2,400 years ago. It forces us to confront some really unsettling questions. What is the true purpose of our governments, of our art, of our lives? In a world with finite resources and so many challenges, what do we truly consider essential? And what might a modern Mozi just call waste?
This is for entertainment and educational purposes only.